Well, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing this evening? Oh, I've had my food. I've had a drink. Not a alcoholic drink. You don't drink before your live stream. Some might do. I don't. Do you know what? It's looking... I need to crop my camera down, I think. This one's fine. I need more stuff, man. It looks... Is it the screen? I think it's the screen, you know. It looks... do you know what? I need to do some more work on it. What's up? What's up, Matt? Good to see you, One Aviation. I can't wait. Well, I hope I do well. No pressure at all. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone re-watching the stream as well. Start off with obviously you guys who are going to come back to the stream and re-watch it. But obviously you guys who are going to spend some time this evening with me. Something a bit different this evening. This is something I've wanted to do. It's actually something I have fully written a script for already. It's very hard to get pre-recorded stuff done nowadays. I was actually speaking to someone on Discord before. I won't say who it was or who they're from, but they're from a very, very popular aviation channel, a very big aviation channel. I won't say who, but it was great to speak to this person, and I was just saying to that particular person that it's just, I used to, way back when the channel started, I was, alright, listen, I'll even admit the quality just nowhere near what it is now, and that is not me sort of bigging myself up. Well, it kind of is, but the production value and the quality and everything about the videos back then were obviously, I recorded myself on the sim talking. There was no kind of idea of what I was saying. There was no actual movements to the camera. It was very all over the place, and that was fine back then. But anyway, back to the point. I was doing uploads nearly every single day. Sometimes I was putting 2 videos out a day. It's not like that anymore, but this was a video that I wanted to pre-record. I thought, you know what, it will still translate over on a live stream, so we'll do it tonight. And I know there's a lot of people who ask about this subject. It might be trivial to the likes of myself and others who already do this type of thing, but there's quite a versatile camera system, and there's other apps and programs that allow you to capture your flight, and I'll try and be as thorough as possible. Listen, if there's no kind of order to it, I do apologize, but I will do my very best. Now, we have got 2 cameras open. I'll most likely not keep this camera open too much. There's my phone there, just in case I get anything important on the phone that you guys can't see. Yeah, whatever, man, whatever. But there I am. You can actually see me legs out, so maybe we get that up a bit more, right? Yeah, we don't want to see the legs, Brian. Jesus Christ, man. I tell you what, the back of that camera is so warm. What I do want you to see is mostly the Stream Deck itself, actually. If you can see the Stream Deck down there. Now, admittedly, I need a new one, because this needs to be bigger. I need the 32 key one, the massive one, the XL version. The camera's fine there. You can see you can barely see the wing panels there, and you can see the Ursa Minor joystick there, all lit up. Very, very nice. Anyway, right. I know you can't see the Stream Deck very well, but you'll see me pressing on it and stuff. I have got a video about this thing and about how it works with Flight Simulator coming, so keep an eye on that, because it's something I also want to do as well. As you can see, we're at Manchester Barton, Manchester City Airport. But we're going to be doing quite a lot of off and on the menus, quite a lot of stopping and starting because of the the idea of the video. So let's get into it, guys. Now, the point of this video is a couple of things. It's because I'm asked quite a lot. I think I'd probably say I was asked daily. So if I post any kind of video, cinematic or otherwise any other type of video really to do with Flight Simulator, I always get asked, how do I move the camera there? How do I film a landing? How do I film a takeoff? How do I do that kind of thing? And how, basically the camera system itself, the replay system, which is obviously baked into the 2024 anyway, so we'll have a little look at that. We're in the 172 because I blooming love this aircraft at the moment. So at the top here, you've got this. Now this is Flight Control Spotter. We're not using that today. Flight Control Replay by this exactly the same person, by Fabio, and this is embedded. So this is your. I've never asked. Yeah, good to see you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you, Martin. It wasn't you I was speaking to at all. I wasn't speaking to you at all, mate. What? Right, so this is Flight Control Replay, which is embedded into the latest simulator 2024. At the top here, you see some of the things that I've installed. GSX being one of them. FS Traffic. Flight Control Replay. Sorry, that's Spotter. Flight Control Replay is there. It's pretty simple, guys. If you press Ghost, it'll give you two of the same aircraft. Or I think you can do quite a few. Record. It's simple. You press record, it'll record what you're doing. So we can do that now. Straight off the bat, though, I would say the best thing to do is, you won't be able to see it, but on this camera here, this screen here, this is actually Flight Control Replay 5, which is exactly the same. It's just the external program. I would recommend, if you've got it already, obviously this is paid, but you have got it included in the sim. So for me, when you're doing any kind of cinematic work, any filming of planes, aircraft, whatever, externally on a secondary monitor, whether it be this kind of monitor here or here, it just means you haven't got this overlay. You don't have to keep on flicking onto an extra button or anything on the screen. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot more friendly doing it this way. And as you won't see it, but it says connected, so I can basically start a flight. I will show you examples, don't worry. But you can start your aircraft up, you can record things, and in most cases you can start the aircraft up and capture all of the starting process, and it will capture that. So even on the big airliners, once you start one of the engines, for the most part it is very aircraft dependent. Some aircraft work better than the others. For example, PMDG 737 technically isn't compatible with 2024, but it does work. That seems to record the reverse thrust, the spoilers. It's very good at doing that. The Phoenix, on the other hand, it won't really capture the reverse thrust. It will give you the spoilers when it happens. There's way round of recording that. If you're trying to make something cinematic or a trailer or a landing, you can control the aircraft still. But anyway, let's get the 172 started up. In this case, guys, if you've watched my streams before, you'll know that I can do this, but I am just going to cheat this time because I want to show you how this all works. Good to see you, Mike. Sorry, yeah, perfect. I'm good, mate. I hope you're good too as well, mate. Soup. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Right, so 172. I'll leave it to do its business because we will want to taxi out and take off and potentially land. Potentially land. We'll see. So yeah, not too sure what's going on here. Usually it's all okay, isn't it? When we start it up manually. So we'll go through how to record. Now obviously there's other options on how to record the simulator. It's got its own embedded, its own included Flight Control Replay. You can also have Flight Control Replay as an external program, which personally I find is a lot better. You also have Sky Dolly as well. Now technically this is a freeware add-on which isn't actually compatible with 2024, but it does work. The one that I'm using today is payware. Now, again, like I said, it's payware if you want it external. I've linked it in the description below if you did want to buy it externally. It is here, so everything I do externally will work on here, but there is added things in the external program that you can do. For example, follow AI plane. I need to check that out because I haven't actually checked that out. Now, I don't know whether that means that it can lock onto AI traffic in the simulator, so it probably won't be able to lock onto just flights traffic or beyond ATC's AI traffic, but I haven't tried it, so I wouldn't know. We're all set up here now. Let's start off by showing you a bit of movement and how I can basically, we're going a bit too fast, I'm sorry, I'm still on X-Plane 12 buttons. I started doing a little sightseeing flight on X-Plane, and yes, I do know that is the wrong way to taxi a barn, so ignore it. For the purposes of the video, I'm just going to get onto the taxiway. So, I can go into flight control replay, press record. It should allow me to X out, so I can still control the aircraft. Control the aircraft very badly. I've completely forgot my buttons from for flight sim. Okay. So what we'll do is now is just wait here, set the brake, and I'm going to go back in to flight control replay, which you can see it's still recording. Now you got to be careful, because if you press play now and you go through it, it'll still work. You can replay your what you've just done, so me taxiing out. But if you start clicking off things and you don't save it, it ain't gonna save. So remember, if you want to save it, press save as soon as you've clicked off the record button. You can delete things afterwards when things start piling up, but they're not going to take room on your hard drive. That, you know, they're only replay files. It's not actually recording any footage onto your hard drive. This is where things get really complicated with the with recording your aircraft, because if you want multiple views, say if I wanted to view out of the aircraft and then a wing view and then an outside view, I have to replay the thing 3 or 4 times, however many camera angles I want. And that's the thing, it becomes complicated. In a way, it just becomes a bit more of a faff. Like, you've got to do it, you've got to keep on replaying it and keep on recording bits. But it is what it is. Technically, if you want to do a full flight, you could start recording, keep on going, land, taxi back in, press stop, press save, and do all your bits then. But it's a long-winded process depending on how much of you want to get. Takeoff and landings are not too bad, you know, depend on how many angles you want. So save it. You'll say it's replays saved there, tells you what you're flying, the time, blah blah blah. Now if we press play, we're back at where we started, where we originally pressed record. Now, getting into drone mode is simple. You can do all that while it's replaying. The reason why I was looking at the Stream Deck is because on my Stream Deck I have profiles set up. I have Flight Sim 2024, 2020, X-Plane. I press on 2020. I know you can't see it, guys. I ideally would have had maybe an overlay or something. If I've got drone, cockpit, I've got cockpit, high and low, forward and back. Some of the main things I use. Drone, sends me into drone camera. Now this is where I think having the external program's better, because I can then get rid of this. The reason why I like getting rid of it is because what I have to do is, if I want to now record the aircraft going forward in this particular camera angle, if I use a screen recording now, it's going to capture the replay tool. If I press X, great, it's all done. You know, it's doing what I need it to. But I can't press pause. I can't stop it. I can't do anything unless I start messing with things. And this is why I say the external programs, the external flight control replay or Sky Dolly, are great, because you can do all that from your second screen and still have control. It's a lot better. That's what I recommend. So that's probably my first really good tip, to be fair. Again, flight control replay has some other things on it as well that you can do. That's drone camera. We can scrub back. Again, we have to press on the thing to close it down. Now, I'll show you guys. I'm using this. If I'm doing any kind of cinematic recording, I use the control. I've got key bindings to slow rotation. I've got key bindings to slow the panning, and I can do it all on the fly. So look, I can move this camera. Now, people will argue, why don't you just use chase plane? You can use chase plane if you want. It's only compatible with 2020 at the minute, but I use manual controls just because it's going to be something different every time. It's going to be unique. Nothing against chase plane. I just decided not to use it on the basis that I like doing all these movements manually. I can zoom in, and you know, I'm manipulating the camera like a cameraman, I guess. I can get as close as I want. All the while it obviously recording. And then what I'll do is I'll actually I'll record the takeoff with the external program and show you kind of in the best of my ability how that is a lot easier. Right now, if I go back, it's going to obviously take the replay off. I can go into load replay. You can see that I've got many replays from way back when. And not too sure what that one was actually, to be honest with you. I thought that was my last one, but clearly it isn't. There it is there. Ivan, good to see you, mate. So there's the replay that I've just recorded. If I click stop now, it's actually going to take my aircraft not back to where it was, but it's going to actually stop it where the recording stopped. So it isn't going to take me back to the edge of the runway, the threshold. It's going to stop me there. So that's something else to consider. Now, I'm using flight control replay, like I said, from my external screen here. I will take the secondary camera out because technically you don't really need to see that, but I've got flight control replay underneath my OBS screen. I can now click record. Now, with the external program, it is going to ask you what you want it to be record, so I'm going to put 172 Barton takeoff, and it's now recording. Again, if you've got developer mode active, please keep an eye on this because this can pop up. And this is not all of it, guys, because obviously we have to actually then screen record it. That's the right buttons now. Perfect. So after you've got all your camera angles you want to do, you then have to replay each replay as many times as however many angles you want to do. So that's where capturing cinematics, people might think it looks easy. It ain't. If you're doing a 2 to 3 minute cinematic, it really can take a while. I love the actual the trees now for autumn, as you can see. Obviously now we've got a basic seasons on 2024, so the trees are now all nicely brown. Still thinking I'm on X-Plane as well, because the controls are completely different for the camera movements, so bear with me while I adjust. God, I was only on it for about half an hour. Perfect, so if I now click on stop recording, the record button, we can now load the flight. And as you can see, it's exactly the same. The external program has got a few more functions. It's the reason why you would have to pay more of a fee. The embedded, the included flight record, flight control replay inside the simulator that you've got, every person will have it. It's got basic functions. Okay, so with the external program, like I said, it's very, very easy. It's now playing the replay on its own. I can pause it. I can scrub through. I can play it. I can go back. I can rewind it if I wanted to. But as you see, I'm doing all this without actually clicking on the screen or any kind of menu. So the only thing that it won't do at the minute is it won't let me scrub through. When I say scrub, I mean scroll without actually clicking pause, which is absolutely fine. Martin, no worries, mate. Or at least I'm assuming it's Martin. But yeah, Martin, no worries, mate. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but the external programs are better, as you can see. I'm not faffing around with clicking on toolbars. I can scrub through. You know, I can take this all the way through to the liftoff. I can start it now. Unlike others, you can actually scrub or scroll through your playback as it's playing. You have to actually press pause on this, which is absolutely fine. Now here is the biggest one, guys. Getting your, because this is what most people want to know, and this is what most people have trouble with. To get your camera in a position like you're a plane spotter or you're someone on the ground videoing it. Because inside the aircraft is easy enough. You can manipulate the camera to place it here. You can take off, you can record your footage, you can take it back, and this applies to the airliners as well. I will do that throughout the stream, guys. I can place the camera here like I'm someone in the back of the Cessna having a little sightseeing flight, and I can record it from that angle, you know. And obviously this you can save as a preset as well, which is fantastic. To get outside of the aircraft, I'm still on the replay. This is the replay. For example, if I want to go over here, so I've been to Barton a fair few times. It's a bloody great place to plane spot. Get me teeth in. textures on the tower not loading again. But around here, there's a gated area, a fenced off area. There's also up here as well. So you can stand here, you can go up, and you can watch the planes from up here. It's fantastic. Fantastic. And there's the plane over there. Great, we've done it. We've manipulated our drone camera to go onto the little the viewing platform at bottom. Good stuff. But oh god, what's happened here? I keep on saying this, Martin, and no one ever agrees with me for some reason, because they're like, oh, we've got the world update button here. But I think Burn and Blue Designs would absolutely kill Barton. They would do a great Barton. But yeah, as you can see, guys, well, you know, what's going on here? Well, a couple of things. If we scrub back, we're able to basically get the camera where it was before, which is about here. This is where we want it. But there's a couple of things that's happened. One, the drone camera is locked onto the plane. Now listen, full disclosure, I know a lot of people already know this, and a lot of people already do this, but this is for the people who don't know this, and there is still a lot, because let's face it, people go on the simulator to fly. They don't generally go in to start recording their own flights, but I've noticed a lot of people now want to start documenting the flights and upload them on social media, which is fantastic. The drone camera is locked. Now this is where you have to start messing around with the toolbar. You've got cockpit, you've got external, which is just your basic panning camera, which has been present in every simulator ever, and then showcase camera. Now it's a bit big, that's the only problem. There's the plane. If I click off these, what is now going to happen is we can just watch it go off. Now still not ideal because, well, it's going off screen and it's gone. So let's get it back. Again, you could go full manual. You could use your controller, manually follow it. The problem with this is I find that every replay tool, the aircraft gets a bit stuttery. It's okay, and obviously the LOD issues as well, things start to disappear, but I am not going to be able to help that. Yes, you can do manual, but things get a bit stuttery in my experience. The aircraft's a bit, yeah, it dances about a bit. To make things a bit more streamlined, and there's a couple of little things in this part. Showcase is what we need. Reset camera. What we want to do here, guys, is right now it's still going to follow. As you can see, drone follow. We click it off. We then do lock mode. Now watch. You'll see the camera, wherever I move it, is going to stick to the Cessna. Now, that's great again. That's what we need. But the issue is right now, is we've got this view. We've got this view, which is great. Now if we press play, I'm not doing anything. It's following it. This is what we need. I'm not too sure what the sounds are all about, guys. I apologize. Fantastic. That is what we want. A lot smoother, apart from a little bit of a jutter, whatever it was there. The next part, what can happen and what will happen, is if I now zoom in, I have map zoom in on a 2-button basis, triangle and trigger right. You'll see if I zoom all the way in, which is great, If you've got a high level zoom camera in real life, this is kind of the view you'd get at Barton. This is still good, but the camera's a bit too high up. In this case now we're getting further out, and that's the most zoom we're going to get. But it is tracking the plane. It's fairly smooth. There's definitely no stutters there. What you need to do, say for example this, we're at this angle now. It's completely gone off shot. To fix that, we're going to go back into here, click off lock mode. We're going to reposition our camera. Now the important part here is you do not move your, at least you don't move your left and right stick, sorry, your left stick. You don't move that, so it's going to take the camera, it's going to translate it left or right or up and down. You want to use the right one, so it turns it, rotates it, and then you can start messing with the camera. So right about there, I would say is probably good. And as long as you don't translate the camera forward or back, it'll lock back into place without any issues. This is what I was telling you, Martin, before. Is if you translate it forward and back, it'll unlock the camera, and your whole focus on the plane will completely go away. So right now we've got a nice little playback of me takeoff. There's a point there where obviously there was a bit of a stutter. You'll see it there slow down for some reason. And there you go. It works exactly like that for landings as well. Fantastic. The sounds there by Echo 19's Cessna sound pack, which is bloomin' gorgeous. I absolutely love the sounds on there. And again, we're on a level here where this is where actual spotters do go at Barton. You can also go to ground level as well. So you can translate this camera anywhere you want. If you're wanting to do any kind of this, I personally would grab yourself an old controller, if you've got one that can be plugged into the PC, and I would totally use an Xbox controller. It don't matter if you're using a full cockpit setup, joystick, yoke, panels. This will be your friend if you're doing replays. This, just get a cheaper Xbox controller. You can find them cheap. You might even have one lying around. But with this, you can spend some time in your settings. So in your actual settings, you can go to the key bindings for the controller. You can go into drone, and as you can see, guys, I've got exposure set, I've got the roll, and you can see these are all set up to my liking. Some of them are default, some of them actually are already like that. But spend some time in this menu and make your drone speed, your drone translation, your drone rotation, everything mappable to your controller. Whether it's one button click or two button clicks, you can Alexis, I mean, yeah, I would probably go back and kind of rewatch some of the stream for sure, but I'm trying my best. It should allow you to record replays in certain angles and use the replay tools and stuff like that. Absolutely, mate. As I say, I would go back and catch some of the earlier parts for sure. But yeah, spend some time on the key bindings for the controller. But like I said, you know, we've come down. Again, the textures are loading in again. Yeah, we definitely do need a better Barton scenery. Should be fencing all the way around here, but again, not the reason why it needs a whole new scenery. It's still, I think there's still quite a lot missing. But again, you can stand here in real life. We've translated the camera down. We can zoom in. And And you know, you could have a bit of flair, you could add some zooming in on your post-production maybe, I don't know, but I would zoom in with the camera if you're recording it. There's my pilot there looking out. Bit of a stutter there, I'm not too sure why. You can actually see the aircraft's getting dirt on it and everything. Alexis, I appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Again, if you've missed some of it, mate, go back and re-watch it. But this should give you some really general good tips and tricks. I've been making cinematics and trailers for the past couple of years for both 2020 and 2024. So I am just... It might not be to everyone's liking, but I'm sharing some of the tips that I've learned, certainly. Also, the drone camera and the replay tool, fantastic way how to get screenshots. So obviously if I want to screenshot this now, yeah, I mean, Mike, the whole message wasn't really in capitals, mate, but I understand why you're saying it. But yeah, Alexis, try and keep the caps down, mate, but I appreciate you subscribing and turning the bell on, mate. I really do appreciate it. I think the whole thing with caps is like you're screaming it, which to be fair, if you're screaming that you're subscribing to the channel, I love that. I love the energy, mate, so keep that energy up. But yeah, the drone, as well as videos, this is also great for screenshots as well. So if I manipulate, right now it's paused, it's kicking up all the dust, which is fantastic. If I just take the lock off for a second and maybe take it over a bit, and if I start messing with... And you can do all this while it's paused and while you're playing back as well. So if I want to get some good old English weather set up, take the lighting down or up, or, you know, manipulate it, and then I can screenshot that, do you know what I mean? Or I can play it back like that. Could take a screenshot with NVIDIA or whatever one you'd like to use. As you can say, screenshot saved there, and there you go. You've got the kick on the back of the dust. You've got all the dust being kicked up on the actual plane itself, and it's paused, and then I can play it again. I can probably get a nice little... I mean, the LOD system's going to probably take it away. Little screenshots as it takes off there as well. Also, in my opinion, and Alexis, no problem, mate. I understand. We know the people who start being idiots with the caps and start screaming out, and you're not one of them, mate. I understand. That's good. Perfect, mate. Perfect. Liam, good to see you, mate. Amazing tutorial. Well, it's probably better if I pre-record a tutorial later along the line, but I certainly get asked enough about these camera tutorials and how they all work. Now, obviously, right now, guys, is we're on the ground like we are a spotter. We can also do this as well. Now, keep in mind the LOD, the level of distance here on the Cessna, is not being the best. I can then do something like this. Translate the camera down, and then I've got a whole new level, a whole new perspective on that takeoff. And keep in mind, this is how you start then building a video together. There you go, guys, and that's pretty much how you do it. And this is what you would go ahead and do, like I said. So you would use your screen capture of choice. I personally use NVIDIA, the NVIDIA app. I've got it keybind to a button on Stream Deck or control something. And if I want to do that replay, control page down, I think it started to record, as you can see. And then make sure that my dev mode thing isn't on there, and I start recording. Spot on. And then I'll pause. I can then go back to the cockpit view, stick it in, I don't know, like a dash cam view. I don't know, maybe whatever, something like there. I've pressed record. I haven't this time. I can then record the whole thing from a totally different camera angle. And then obviously, I'm not going to show you the editing process, but I'll leave that up to you for creative purposes, of course. But you'd stick all your footage into your editor of choice. I personally would recommend DaVinci Resolve because it's free and it gives you a lot of control. Spend some time learning it, doesn't take long, and you can make some great videos. Edit those together. You could obviously start by showing the cockpit view, and then as soon as the aircraft gets to a certain point on the runway, you can then edit the clipping of it going past you. It's that it becomes your creative sort of, you know, it's your creative juices that need to get flowing. Then on the editing side of things, it wouldn't be up to sort of me to teach you that side. Obviously for swanky and, you know, really cool editing stuff, I mean, there's a lot of tutorials of people showing you how to do DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premium, you know, stuff like that. Very, very in-depth tutorials on YouTube, of course, how to do all that. So what else have we got? Now, the other program for replays is Sky Dolly. It does exactly the same. It's free. It's external. There's more functionality in flight control replay. It's the reason why it's payware. It's like, basically think of it as a freeware airport and a payware airport. Do you know what I mean? You know what you're getting with the freeware airport. You buy into the extra detail and the extra, you know, zhuzh and the premium airport. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Although some freeware airports are bloody fantastic, aren't they? So, but obviously with a replay tool like this, you know, I've stopped here. I can then manipulate the camera to the next point. Again, you can save replays. So, you can save camera points. This is quite an old thing that many people know already. But if I want to stick the camera here, I don't know if I've changed it. Again, you need to look at your key bindings, which will be in. This time you would go to your keyboard. I think if you type custom camera, Shift F1, blah, 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 you can do all that. I thought it was actually the number, to be honest with you. Okay, yeah, so yeah, they're the load buttons. I apologize, they're the load buttons. So you can map it to 5, 6, 7. You can obviously change all these at will if you want to. You can add other ones in as well. You can change all them, you can save them, and then when you're in the aircraft, Alt Shift 5, there's a little bit of a stutter, you'll know that's when it's saved, and then Control Shift 5 will take you back to where you've just done it. Simple. Again, to show you that again, if I wanted a passenger wing view out the 172's cockpit, Alt Shift 5, that will replace the other one. If I reset my camera now looking that way and I do Control Shift 5, it goes back. Fantastic way to also film maybe even like a time lapse out of your window, because you can, in theory, fly along, pause it, change your weather, change your time of day, and keep on editing that together, and it might look nice. I've never done it. It's a good idea. There you go. Someone go off and do that. It's a great idea. Right, let's have a little look. Perfect. Right. Okay. So, what else do we need to look at now? I haven't taking a look at some of the other things on flight control replay. Do you know what I might do for you guys as well? Because it really would make sense, wouldn't it, if I... Let's have a little look. Okie doke, let's It's going to take some of your screen away, and it's probably not going to be very, very big, but that is what I'm seeing on my screen, guys. As you can see, that's what I'm seeing on just under OBS, under my preview, is Flight Control Replay's external program. Okay, as you can see in here, there's a couple of nice little features like follow AI playing. Some of these are in beta, of course, and there's also ghost playing as well. You can also record two of the same plane, which I, at the minute, wouldn't be able to show you because I haven't messed with this part in a while. What else do we need to look at? I can show you exactly how how it is with landings as well, which is going to be quite similar to what we did before. I'll tell you what we'll do. We can then press control, back controlling the Cessna when you click on take control, so you can go back into controlling the aircraft from wherever you've stopped the replay. Very, very dirty now as well, the Cessna, which is bloody gorgeous. So I'll show you a couple of ways on how we can potentially record the aircraft in the air flying along, how to again manipulate the cameras, because it works the same way as the ground, obviously, but it's, yeah, there's a couple of little ways you can do it. Again, there are programs like Chase Plane, which currently is only 2020 compatible. I do believe they are working on 2024 compatibility, but without sounding negative, which I'm not, Chase Plane is not predetermined. You can create your own ones. I haven't used it. I can't make assumptions, but it takes the manual process of setting up cinematic cameras. I'll show you in more detail what I mean. So let's record. Let's stop the recording. This is the only thing I would say is if you're recording something with the external flight control replay, there probably might be a way, but I'd like it if I can just press record and start recording. I have to put in a file name for it to save. So I'm just going to put 172 flying, and it's starting to record now. So as you can see, it's recording once I've popped in a file name, and obviously everything I do right now is going to record. So yeah. What are the curves of your controller? They're looking pretty smooth. To be honest with you, Alexis, mate, I am holding the joystick in place, but it seems to be quite smooth at the minute. I can certainly show you. I don't think the controller's in any fit state. It's very it definitely got some dead points, and definitely has some stick drift as well. But it's fine at the minute. I definitely would look to upgrade to a better controller. Let's just give it less beans. We are still recording. I don't know if there's any kind of limit to recording. That's one thing I could not confirm. We'll let it record. We are sort of making our way towards Liverpool. I think the M62 is the motorway, just down onto the left there. I think it is, or it could be one of them on this side. I think Chase Plane is designed more for flight camera stuff, not recording really. The thing is, Martin, I've got no hate towards it. It's just I feel like if I'm doing any cinematic stuff with the joystick and making cinematic movements, if you like, it can start getting repetitive. You can start then getting into a habit of using the same camera pan and zoom and tilt as every other video you've done. That could be the case. With manually controlling it, yeah, it's a pain in the ass manually controlling the camera movements, but it's fun having something unique every time. That's my take on it. chase plane, no, it would save me a hell of a lot of time. It would save me a lot of time. And also, yeah, chase plane does work well for when you're flying anyway, not just for replays. That's another good take on it as well. Altitude mode, let's put it in, where is my, let's put it in heading mode. Let's just get a turn going, just for replay's sake. Just for the replay's sake, not for anything else. And that'll take us sort of nose onto the Mersey Gateway Bridge, and I think, is it called Fiddler's Ferry? Am I right? I think it is, isn't it? And then the Runcorn Bridge, and then obviously just off to the nose there, you've got Echo Golf Papa, the good old John Lennon Airport, off into the distance there. So, with that being said, we've clicked stop recording. Flight. So this is the other thing as well I don't particularly love about flight control replay. It's fantastic, a lot of functionality. Externally works really great, but when I press stop recording, I want to be able to just play. Do you know what I mean? Again, this might be something you can do. I haven't really gone into the settings loads, and there is a fair few settings you can mess about with. But I'd love to be able to just press play and start it. Instead, I do have to load it up, find the file, which doesn't take a while, press play, and then we're all the way back to where we started. Started off paused, which is great. Oh no, we haven't. We're not paused. We're playing. Let's pause it, and then let's go into drone camera. Again, I'm using... You'll also see that drone camera's back at bottom because that's where it was last, and it was obviously locked on to the 172. To get back to the 172, it is simple as just press a reset position. Nothing hard about that. It's going to reset the whole showcase camera, so now we are stuck. We're not stuck, but we're locked on to the 172 in follow mode. So it's not locked, the camera's view isn't locked on. I can do all that, you know, I can point it in the sky and it'll play, but it'll play like it's following. Same as before, guys. If you then want to lock it on, I would always recommend resetting. If you want to lock the camera on, you can do that. Now keep in mind, if I do this now, it's going to go off into the horizon. I can then bump the camera speed up, and then I can have a flyby camera. I can zoom into the 172. Obviously the LODs are terrible there. I'm not too sure why. Doors aren't even on. Again, that is not really an error of mine. That is just a terrible LODs for some reason. But again, I can then scrub it back. Can go away from it as well. I can do this, I can do that, you know, there's a lot of control. In my opinion, the flyby camera's great, but I try and keep the things realistic. For what I mean by that is a landing or a takeoff camera angle would be more this style. This is how I'd think someone would record it from the sky. From their camera. In drone mode, what I like doing, if it's in the sky, we'll play it. And what I like doing here is using... Yes, there is a depth of field focus, Martin, mate, yeah. So what I like doing in this case, we're going to go into a typical cinematic pan across the Cessna. I'm going to slow everything down so you'll see, even with me giving full welly on the control, either way, it's very slow. And that's how I get the slowness of the camera, so... And that's just like a typical Just a typical pan, or, you know, sweeping camera. There's another one if you reverse it. Now, I have noticed one thing straight away is that the horizontal stabilizers, ailerons, they seem to be fixed in position for some reason with the replay. Not too sure why. Possibly something to do with the replay tool, but again, I'm not going to say it is because I don't know if that is the case. The focus on the camera, mate, what I meant by that before, guys, is you can see actually the... Now, you'll notice that I'm actually able to still replay this, but still manipulate things, so I can still, for the most part, I can still mess around with some things, but the problem is that the ailerons aren't staying in place, which is, again, sometimes the replay tools aren't always going to be your friend with the actual reverse thrusters, the flaps, the spoilers, the landing gear. The 172 is not something I record very often as well. Let's take that back a bit so I can show you the depth of field and all that business. So you can go into the showcase camera, and I think it's manual sometimes. It's not something I use quite a lot, the focus, must admit. But yeah, you can get a nice blur, yeah. But I find that auto doesn't really do much. Manual's a lot better. Again, slow your rotation speed down, your translation speed, and if you want to get a pan shot like that. And to give you a good idea of what I'm doing here is I will flick that up, and I'm just putting my fingers in opposite directions, my thumbs in opposite directions, and I'm just panning the camera. But because the drone speed and translation, the rotation speed are all very minimal, that's why we're getting that nice panning shot. If we turn everything up, your rotation speed goes very erratic as well. It really depends on the shot you want. You can have the camera up above here like that and just have it fixed as well. Mate, just watch the F50 oomph, classmate. Yeah, the F50, when I had it, when I personally had it to create that teaser, it was difficult to fly. It was very early on. It's come a long way, I believe. But they wanted a specific video idea for the FA50. They wanted to base it on the Portuguese Air Force that used the Falcon 50 still, and do those low-level approaches into Madeira. So naturally, when Contrail asked me to do that, I was like, you sure? But it was actually all right in the end. It worked out all right. I haven't really done a cinematic or trailer for a while, except obviously the A340 one that I put out yesterday, I think. I do prefer to do airport cinematics than aircraft ones, if I'm going to be totally honest. The thing with airports, though, depending on the size of the airport, you can... and how detailed they are, it can take a while to get all your shots, especially if you want to combine some landings and takeoffs and aircraft taxiing. It can become a long one, and I do have an airport trailer that I should be working on very soon, and it's such a very detailed airport as well. So shots like this, these are better with airliners, obviously. Also as well, flight control replay will just continue to play. It will go to the end and then go back to where it was, which is good, especially if you want to do multiple takes, and that's what I do. I won't just be content on that shot, for example. I'm also going to set up a virtual I'm also going to set up a virtual stream deck, because there's an app you can get on your tablet. So I'm going to get a tablet holder and have an actual touchscreen stream deck on there, because it will be so good, because I want to be able to control OBS from there as well, because I'm flicking between pages on the stream deck at the minute. But yeah, I'm not particularly fond on the ailerons being stuck. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. What we'll do now is we will grab ourselves a bigger plane. We'll attempt a landing, and I'll show you a couple of different ways how to record a landing, which is completely the same as what we've just done, really. But it'll just give you a nice perspective on what it's like to do that. Maybe some spots. For me personally, I like to try and research actual spots in real life. Plane spotting locations. If I'm recording a landing, you can do it however you want. But if I'm recording from an external camera and I want to have a landing like it's being recorded by a plane spotter, or any other person who's recording a plane, not so much plane spotters, but anyone, I like to keep it realistic. So obviously at Manchester, which is where we'll go, obviously, or we could go to Liverpool, we can go to either. We could go to both, to be honest with you, we've got time. Let's have a little look. So let's do a 2-7 approach, because obviously that way we can see our friend plane spotting Mike on the way down on the mound there, which hasn't been mapped, unfortunately, which is crap. There's no actual mound. It's a bit of a shame. Stick it into a bit of daylight, and let's... Ooh, I don't know. Have I got any planes that I can't show on here? You can't be too careful. I'll get a slap on the wrist. Or even worse, I'll get told I can never work in this town again. For the sake of having something on there that I can't show, which I've just passed one now. To be fair, you already know that I've got that plane anyway, so it doesn't matter. I love being all mysterious like this, to be fair. Look at the Dassault Rafale that Azure Poly sent me, though. How amazing is that? I need loads more models. That was the Gemini Jets A220 Air France that I bought from Aviation Fair about maybe 2 years, maybe a year or two ago. That's the only Gemini Jets model I've got. Hopefully in years to come this will be full of Gemini Jets models. Anyway. Anyway, let's grab ourselves, I don't know. Should we go with Ryanair? Because then if I make it, then, oh god, I can't believe I'm using this analogy, but should we go with Ryanair? And then, if it's a bad landing, we can blame it on Ryanair. Oh, I don't even like making that joke because, honest to God, I've never actually had a bad landing with Ryanair, so never. The only issue I've got now is that I can take you back there now. So, is that it will put you up at 31,000 feet on an approach. So yeah, that's a thing in itself, isn't it? Oh, hang on. Yeah, all the way up here. Then I've got to do a nosedive into a full 180 over the overrun corner witness. Anyway, we can also do that, but again, it's going to be a tough ride for everyone. We will use slew camera. In fact, that is another great tip. I will show you that as well, because that is another fantastic thing to get used to. Now, it's actually sent us down. Oh. So this is a good thing that's happened. In fact, it might be a better approach, to be fair. But you'll notice that this Sun Express 737-800 is now using exactly the same replay as the Cessna. So it don't matter what aircraft you use, it will actually just play the same replay. It's all location specific, but you'll also see that our beacons and wing lights and our navigation lights are going absolutely nuts. We've got a bit of a disco going. But yeah, that's the issue. If you do, it's the same with all the replay tools, by the way, guys. If you do not click stop and you change aircraft and you want to start recording something new, that's what will happen. Big must, before I get sidetracked, which I always do, big must is go into your advanced options, go into developer mode and click it on. You will get the developer thing popping up every so often, but you can then go into auto hide. As you can see, it's up there now, it's not hiding. If you click auto hide, it'll hide the menu for you until you start putting your cursor up here. The reason why I would recommend developer mode, I'll tell you when we start back up again. But we will try and actually get this replay done. We'll try and get it landing done at least. Set as arrival, I will just... Well, actually, this will be a good reason to show you why I said developer mode. Let's get it back into the daytime. Again, I will look at doing some kind of pre-recorded tutorial, but again, it takes a lot. I don't want to just put a sloppy video out. I want to make sure the video's got, you know, at least a bit of nicely edited, and you know, it's all put together nicely. So as you can see, we're up at 31,000 feet on approach. Looks fantastic though, look at that. I do need to invest in maybe £7 or £8 into the new Floyd's pack. But anyway, the reason why you need developer mode is you go up here, go to camera, and then go to slew mode. And now I can mess around with the flame. And keep this in mind, obviously, if you are creating a cinematic of anything, slew mode is very, very useful, especially at airports, moving your aircraft around. Click back onto slew mode. Now the aircraft might do some weird things. I also don't know how to put the 737 into ILS. I used to be able to way back when, back in the X-Plane 11 Zebo mod days, which wasn't really far back, but I was really good at flying that. I'm absolutely terrible now because I've been in too many Airbuses. It seems about right, maybe not. From what I can remember, let's get, I'd say maybe 135 is good approach speed. We might not need 40 flaps, 40 degrees of flaps for the for Liverpool. I think it all depends. I believe they use 30 or 40 potentially. Again, 737 landing as our file name. Click save. You wouldn't have seen that, but now you can see it's recording. Oh. 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 Oh no. Great tutorial, by the way. Your sim crashed. Not too sure why. Okay, maybe it was just having a bit of a long stutter. A long stutter. Anyway, let's see if we can actually land this. Probably a bit too high at this point. But we'll try and get down. Mersey Gateway Bridge and the Runcorn Bridge there. I am using all, I think maybe 2 or 3 of the Orbex. They're not called True Earth on, what are they called? They're called something different on Microsoft Flight Simulator. On X-Plane they're called True Earth. But I am using that, by the way, for all regions of the UK. If you were wondering. I can see 4 white. Probably not the best approach, but it don't matter. It's not the reason why we're doing this.
2500.
And obviously with this, there is a lot of, again, recording these landings, takeoff, in-flight stuff. It's going to require you to record twice. And what I mean by that is it's going to require you to use a replay tool like Flight Control Replay to initially record the actual plane itself, what the aircraft is doing, where it's going, all that business. And then you're going to have to play it back and then screen record. And that's the thing, if you start using cinematic pans like I was doing before, you do have to do that in real time. You have to press the replay button, press play, let it play,
1000.
do your camera movement, and also screen record all at once. It becomes easier when you're statically, your camera's static. You can just press screen record and let it do its business, which is fantastic.
300. 200.
Oh, it's not even a Ryanair, so I can't say it was a Ryanair landing, can I? Also, it looks like there's a plane coming for us as well, maybe.
20. 10.
It wasn't bad, not my best. But this will be a good time to show you if the thrust reverser is deployed in the replay. Not graceful at all, was it? Spoilers are still up. I don't think my Stream Deck key binding for the spoilers are. I don't think they work on the PMDG. Technically, it's still not compatible with 2024. I mean, it's not fully flyable in terms of starting at the gate and all that business. You have to actually use slew camera to start off on the runway. It's a bit of a faff. It's technically, I wouldn't really start using the 737, the PMDG one, of course. You do have the default Max 8 and also the iFly one, which apparently is very, very good. So they would be the ones. We've got a little Logan Air ATR on the ground there and a EasyJet. These would be part of Just Flight's traffic. But anyway, let's have a little look and see how that was. load it up. Hopefully it loads, because obviously we did have that. So it hasn't loaded up. But again, oh, there we go. I think that was the little pause that it did at the start where I thought it completely crashed. It must have actually paused the exact amount of time. But yeah, in this instance, guys, this kind of situation, you'd probably want something like a wing view. So again, have I got a wing view set up? That's the point. Let's have a little look. I don't think I have I? Ah, look at that. Of course I have. So there's a little wing view that I had pre-set up. You can also see the spoilers are still deployed. The only way to, with the PMDG, any kind of key bindings to, well, in my instance, a Stream Deck, it doesn't seem to work. But obviously, we can just go back in there. And obviously everything's working now, lights and everything are working. This would be one situation where you would want to film the approach like this maybe, as a passenger view. Again, from that save we can just manipulate the camera around a bit. Few little stutters there. Again, for really, it doesn't matter how optimized your system is or how beefy your system is, I would recommend recording your initial recording, so recording the actual aircraft. I would record that without any clouds. Try and do it as default you can. Also knock down some of your graphic settings while you do it, and then when you're playing it back, bump everything back up again. Technically that really shouldn't work, but I've noticed it can do, especially with the weather. If you've got a load of clouds, and if you want to load the clouds in your scene, inject the clouds into your play. So when you're playing the replay back, that's when you inject the clouds. Try and do a clear day, no variables, nothing that can, tank performance, and then add it all in when you're playing it and recording it. So obviously, as I said before, I'm using NVIDIA. I've got it set up so it's really high bit rate. It takes a lot of hard drive space. That's the only issue. Let me just have a little look at. You might even see it actually. So NVIDIA Control Z will get your overlay, and you can actually see here some of the stuff I've taken pictures of and recordings up here. You can change your default path. You can change game filters. Don't work for 2024, so it doesn't matter. Need to shoot. Take care, Brian. No, thanks for coming in, mate. Have a good rest of your evening, mate. I'm gonna be off the computer after this anyway. But yeah, thanks for coming, Mike. I really appreciate it, mate. Have a good one. But yeah, if I go into my video capture, desktop capture allows you to obviously capture desktop. I won't insult your intelligence there, but you can start messing about with quality, custom in-game resolution, so it matches what your resolution is, frame rate, and AV1 up to 187 is probably absolutely stupid. But I know that my final video isn't going to be that big. I'm going to end up chopping them down and making them to one video. So yeah, my video project file folders can be insanely big, but I know coming out of that I'm going to have really nice crisp footage either in 2K or in 4K. That's why I leave it like this. Some people would say that was absolutely silly. That's just the way I choose to do it. If you're not too sort of concerned about how crispy your footage is, bring the bitrate down. Maybe don't use AV1 because it's probably not the most compatible one. it don't matter anyway, because obviously when you edit it up, you can output your video, your nice cinematic edit into a HVEC or whatever it's called. It's all on there, but you can mess about with that, change your folders where everything's going and stuff like that. Controls that'll get it back out. But it's exactly the same as, for example, what I showed before. We've paused the replay. Everything's actually still going. You can still mess about with things. I would even say you might be able to, or at least. So no, you can't mess about with flaps, which is a good sign, because you definitely you don't want to at this case. In this case, so for landings, it's the same, guys. You just go into showcase. The showcase is going to send you outside. Always get into the habit of resetting your camera so it goes behind there. If you want a recording aspect, like someone's on the ground recording the landing, you get it onto lock mode. Take all these off. Track IRs if you're using track IR or your Tobii eye tracker, so that can be disabled anyway. Manipulate your camera. Obviously, for the sake of speed, you can up the speed up. Now, where was I the other day? Oh, we've got, oh no, he's doing a go around because we shouldn't be there. Where was I the other day? I was actually down here. Took some pictures of a Jet 2 down here. You can actually walk down here. Looks a bit different, but well, not that much actually, to be fair. But yeah, you can walk down there. So there's two main spots at Liverpool. You've got Oglet Lane, or Oggy as it is affectionately known. Oglet Lane is this road that goes all the way around the perimeter and takes the workers to the control tower. But over here, this is where I got the pictures of the Australian Air Force A330. Over here is a road. It's a paved road. It's not a gravel road. All looks similar. But if you are doing any kind of aviation photography at Liverpool, or you're doing any kind of video photography at Liverpool, at the minute, this is where you'd want to be up until about 3 o'clock, because the sun is going to be lighting the planes, so you're not going to get a backlit situation. And then there you go, guys. There's my shaky landing. We pretend it was windy. It wasn't bad, was it? But I mean, that is pretty, I would say, from a viewpoint, it's realistic. There's definitely more trees along here. And then again, we can take that back. Now again, we can actually see the reverse. The thrusters actually worked on this, so I would say PMD 737 works as a replay tool intends it to. Now, like I said before, we are in a position here where the camera, in my view, is a bit too high. It's pointing up a bit too high. So again, we want to go into the lock mode. Do not move the camera forwards or backwards or side to side. You just want to use the rotation to the right stick. I would say there is probably where you'd want the camera. Lock it back into place. And then you're in recording mode again. At this point, this is where you'll be using NVIDIA to screen record at whatever quality you want to. And there we go, guys. There's Sun Express 737 800 with the split scimitars coming into Liverpool. Fantastic. Now, another couple of issues you may find in using the replay tools. You'll also notice that the camera's starting to get a bit, the rotation's going a bit. And what I mean by that is it starts, the horizon starts to rotate, slope down. All you need to do with that is have a reset camera button. Not resetting the actual it's not resetting the drone camera. What it is it's a secondary one. So if you go into there, you'll see one called it's not reset position. It might not even be in here, but basically on my R3, which is right stick in, I can auto level everything. It will reset it at a rotation angle, but you can just simply take it back down. You can also do that, which is a bit of annoyance. That is if you just press the directional pad. So keep in mind, if your finger slips, you'll take the rotation all the way to a top-down view. But it doesn't take long to reset it. And there's another view. So you might want to, from this viewpoint in real life, I think that is what you see. No worries, Martin, mate. Well, thanks for coming in, mate. I really appreciate you watching it. It means a lot, mate. Honestly, it really does. It's bit starstruck, if I'm going to be honest, mate. Sorry to say that, but yeah. Not sorry, like in sorry. I mean, just like I'm sorry if that makes me sound a bit weird. But yeah, that is kind of how you would do a landing replay. Again, you can record from the cockpit. You can, by all means, have your camera like this if you wanted to. It'll lock into place the exact same way. You'll just see a bit more of the scenery. I tell you what though, right down on the centre line, right on the touch. Hey, I tell you what, it wasn't too bad, to be fair, was it? It really wasn't. But I like combining the real world spots. So again, in Liverpool, you would be looking at where we are now. There's also a spot here if you want to get a bit closer to the aircraft, which in real life is, as you can imagine, it's pretty close, especially to the bigger planes. Liverpool on a daily basis would only be getting something like the 737 or the A320, A319s. But yeah, you can also get here on Oglet Lane, and again, this, while for the most part doesn't look exactly like, see, I've also reset it. So the reason why that happens is because I just don't click on the secondary button fast enough. I just click the down button, which gives me a top-down view. So again, that's just purely user error. It's not a glitch of any kind, but yeah, I would say about here in Oglet Lane will also give you this type of view. You definitely don't want your zoom lens here. That wasn't a bad landing at all. What am I going on about? But again, you've got that. You've got the. I'm not going really talking about actual real life spotting zones, but again, another popular sort of landing angle, if you like, would be sort of near the touchdown zone, if you like, and maybe side on. So you'd probably want to take the camera here. Maybe around here. And you'd probably want to adjust the camera there. So the tip for adjusting the camera, like I said before, again, some things will be repeated, but this will probably help you guys. But this I haven't said. So when I said taking out lock mode to get the best sort of viewpoints, you want to go to the point of where it's out of view. So here, this is where we want to adjust things. So we go into the drone camera. Bit loud, isn't it? Take the lock off. Just use our rotation camera. Now we are still zoomed in a bit, but I think about there is good. Now we want to relock it in this case. Once it's relocked, then you can move your camera back to get it into frame. Maybe lower it down, maybe something like that. And I think that would make a good view. So let's have a little look at what that looks like. Again, some things you will need to adjust, like if you're behind an object in the airport, you'll obviously want to adjust the camera. Sometimes it's a bit trial and error, but that is a better camera angle. Now we can see the full aircraft in shot. Bit of a bounce. I didn't see the bounce, but anyway, it is what it is. There's that as well. You can do all that. And obviously, if you are watching, guys, if there's anything in particular that I've missed out, because I feel like I've completely missed things out. I should have really made a plan, to be honest with you. I should have made a bit of a I don't know what to talk about type thing. I'm just going through things off memory. But another one you can also do is, again, combine the cinematic movements like we're in the air. So we'll have to reset the camera again. And in this case, what you can do is, our spoilers again are out. With this particular aircraft, the only way to sort that is to go back into the cockpit and of course manipulate the spoiler levers, and it will work. Like I said, the other one you can do is combine the cinematic sort of camera movements, if you like, with a landing, which sometimes looks fantastic. It really depends on how good the scenery is, how good the satellite imagery is. So the one I like to do is start with the approach, take all the speed down on your camera controls, and you can kind of do like a pan and shot over the approaching aircraft like this. It's still locked onto the aircraft, but this works nicely when you start approaching the piano keys, or, you know, the threshold of the runway, if you like. So we start here. As we approach, that's actually a farm there. You can start doing this pan, so it starts going across the runway. Again, you can be as creative as you like. You can also, it's not exact, but you can also have the camera like it's on a wing view, but not totally. So you can move over here. Now you do have to stay with the sort of the controls and make sure it doesn't like glitch into the wing, but this is the good one to see the thrust reversers. Something like that, I don't know. For me personally, that wouldn't be the angle I'd go for, especially on a landing. I try and keep cinematic viewpoints to almost realistic, like it's something that someone could actually do in real life. So, you know, something like this, you'd have to be a madman and sort of serve on the wing or sit on the wing and do it. Obviously, with smaller planes like the 172 or bush planes, it's very possible, because obviously people do use action cams and obviously use a suction cup and stick their action cams to the end of the wings. So something like this in a small aircraft, by all means you can do it on a bigger aircraft, no one's telling you can't, but you know, something like this in a small aircraft where your camera's here is great. The only issue you'll have is the camera won't stick, it'll still move. You can obviously counteract that by keeping your hands on the controls, but you could do that and then that'll happen, so it's not stuck where you want it to. You can sometimes do that on aircraft. So some aircraft, the camera that's inside where you can move about can sometimes glitch through the external model if you can try and force it. And as you can see, obviously the PMDG's actual textures inside the cabins and overall are just not 2024 standard yet. But you can sometimes glitch out and place that internal camera anywhere you like in some aircraft, which is great because then you can just save a custom camera and then it can automatically go there, which is fantastic. It's again another little that wouldn't be a trick, I guess, but it's definitely a glitch. So we've stopped it now. You can see that the aircraft now is actually back into my control and it's slipping off a bit. Let's just stop it there. So external view, it's not really one you're going to be using much in terms of recording most things. Your camera and your showcase, in my experience, I've never used external. It gives you a certain amount. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can pivot around, and that's it. It's not something I use. The other cameras in Showcase, if the developer has set them up, you can use fixed cameras. So these are all ones that the developer has put into the aircraft. Showcase lets you do this. It's in the Showcase menu, but you can't actually move it. You can't do anything with it, which is a shame. But you can't move these cameras. They look like the cockpit ones when moving them about, but you can't move them. They're all preset. Some aircraft have 15 to 20. Some of them have less. Sometimes using these ones in a static sense, as in every so often, that's a nice view. The Airbuses also sometimes come with their nose camera view or the underbelly view, which again is great. For me, I would be using mostly the passenger view. So there's actually, I think, around 6 or 7 on here. So you'll have a over the wing, in front of the engine, and then behind the engine as well. So there's quite a few. There's also that one which is kind of like the tail view you get on the Airbus aircraft, which sometimes looks very, very nice, especially for flying. If you're trying to record a full flight, and every so often you can just slip into this, because again, this is something that the passengers would see. You could even, and I won't share that idea because I don't think I've ever seen someone do that. I will share it with you though, Martin. But yeah, they're good on the PMG, but the PMDG, but they're all different. Every aircraft has their own camera angles that you can manipulate. Again, if you're rewatching this stream, let me know in the comments if there's something I've missed out, because I feel like I have missed a load out, to be honest. You will probably have to keep on going back and kind of seeing what I'm doing. Flight control replay, as I say, it is included in everyone's copy of Flight Sim 2024, but I'd personally use the external one. There is Sky Dolly as well. Sky Dolly has its pros and cons, same as the others. Developers are always, especially Fabio, what I would say with Fabio, it's a payware thing, but he's also got Flight Control Spotter as well, for more precise outdoor spotting views. And he also obviously has Flight Control Replay, which again is always being updated. It's very active, Fabio, so you would definitely want to consider the payware option. again, I'd like to be able to click on play once I've recorded. Now, another thing, once we get back into it, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you something high up in the air, which makes it's just a bit better and showing you maybe stuff that you'd like to do up in the sky, up at altitude. And because I can use it, there's nothing here, is there, that I can and you know what? I'm not going to take the chance. I'm not going to take the chance. So what we're going to do now is we will jump into a unreleased aircraft. So you'll have for those who haven't seen this, you'll get to see it now. But I am allowed to show you this. Now, one thing I haven't seen just yet is this, but I'll show you in a second. Which livery shall we choose? Oh, I'll show you what it is, by the way. Yeah, look at that. The soon-to-be released A340 300 by EMEET. There's AirX's 9H Big, and it is big, isn't it? Especially, I mean, the 600. I hope someone does the 6. Isn't Aerosoft doing the 600, or are they also doing the 300? I think they're doing the 600, aren't they? But I'd like to see any builds do the 600 as well. That'd be really, really nice. Let's go in the no. We're going the aim device. Let's go in the beautiful X Gulf Air. I don't think these guys fly the 340 anymore. Although this could be, is this a special livery, or it could be a government one, couldn't it? It could be. Let's pick it anyway. Bum 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 bum. So if you are re-watching the stream, or if you're watching now, thank you very, very much. As I say, there is a point at some time I do want to do a proper pre-recorded tutorial, just so it's a bit more streamlined and it's not me going back and forth between things, which I've fully realised that's what's going on. But please consider subscribing. I might have hit 4,000 subscribers now. I'm not too sure. Let's have a little look. Something that I wasn't really planning on doing, to be honest with you, is keep on growing the channel. But even so, it seems to have happened, which is fantastic. We're on 3,999 guys. So we're nearly there. We're nearly at 4K, which is great, which is fantastic to see. Honestly, I mean this, by the way, and I know a lot of people do actually say it, but I think it's more of a throwaway comment. But in my case, I do actually mean it. If I have one person watching a video, fantastic. One person watching a stream, fantastic. But just like others, we do spend a lot of time making the videos, so sometimes it can get a bit disheartening. So we are all human, after all. So, but for me, it's my hobby, and I enjoy doing this. It has sucked me in before, and I have been in a position where I've absolutely hated doing this, but I don't now. I've learned some new techniques. Anyway, guys, there is something else I also want to share with you as well, and this is if you're using 2020 or 2024, and this is a big one, by the way. Martin, if you're back or if you re-watch it, mate, this is another one. I'll also send it to you if you aren't here. When you're taking screenshots and when you're taking videos, if you do not have, let me start flying. The air dryer, perfect. Let's get this baby into a altitude hold, and you know what? This is the EIS 2 version. I thought it was the screens. Maybe the screens are a bit better actually. The pixels don't look as big. Yeah. So there is two options with the A340: the older screens and the newer screens. But anyway. Why is it going back? Right, so the lovely hair dryers, you can hear the hair dryers going. So if you are creating videos, guys, screenshots, videos, you will want the handlebar mod. And this is something that I've seen some people, even people who are doing full flights, doing screenshots. I've seen it on screenshots, I've seen it on videos. It's a freeware, you might as well go and get it. Now, you'll notice I'm moving my cursor about and you can see none of the toolbars coming up at the top. If I move it up there, you'll see it, see? But usually what would happen is the little arrow, let me turn the thing down for you guys. What would usually happen is I'd move you'd move your cursor and the little arrow for the toolbar would come up to where you move your to where you need to move your cursor to. That is a big thing. That is one of the biggest tips. Even though it's not technically camera, but it is camera related, but it's not about the camera. When you're making any type of content that you want to share, you definitely do not, because if you start manipulating things, this toolbar thing pops up at any time, and then all you're going to have is a video with the toolbar cursor keep on flicking off and on. You'll take screenshots and you'll have the cursor on the screenshot, and you might have taken a really bloody good screenshot and then you've got that cursor. And yeah, sure, some of the new AI stuff that you can use can chop it out, but you can go on flightsim.to and you can find a 2020 and a 2024 version. It's called like Handlebar Mod. I will try and link it in the video description if I can find it, but honest to God, the search function on Flight Sim. So Handlebar Mod for 2024 is in the video description now. So it's called like no handlebar mod, and that's a 2024 version that I've put in the description. So if you are anyone who wants to take videos or screenshots, get this into your community folder because it's amazing. And definitely it's free. It's free. You know, why not? No handlebar mod FS 2024 has been linked in here. Now I need to find the 2020 version because there's still a lot of people on 2020 as well. It's also worth mentioning something that I had happen to me was, if you're downloading any sim update beta, if you're using any of the even if you use the update to the public ones, it will kind of knock it out for a bit. It does work. It's got no kind of effect on sim updates and stuff. I can't find the 2020 version, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. Let me do a Google search, because honest to God, if I put it into Google, it'll find the page. Yeah, look, there it is there. So that is in the description now. The 2020 and the 2024 version of no handlebar. Pop it into community folder, dead simple, and you won't have the handlebar, the toolbar keep on activating when you're moving your cursor around. Absolutely essential for cinematics, any kind of videos you want to make, even if it's just a video of you landing, just one view, cockpit view. It's a must. I really recommend that one, and as I say, do still people not using it. But yeah, up at altitude here, obviously you've got a a couple of options. You've got doing a cinematic pan, like it's maybe filmed air-to-air filming. You obviously do see airlines doing air-to-air filming of aircraft out of helicopters, out of other planes. You can also film out of the cabin as well. That it would be the same situation. You translate through into the cabin. By the way, the A340 cabin is bloody gorgeous. Very, very nice. There's only one cabin though. Whether they want to release any cabin packs for the A340 remains to be seen, but there's only one cabin. But it's a very, very nicely rendered cabin as well. For those who like to see cabins in their aircraft, for some reason though, you have to translate across the floor. Don't know why. Haven't got a clue. Have not got a clue. But it's very, very well done cabin. I don't think I've saved any wing views in here. Although it would be interesting to see if there's any... Yeah, it's a pain in the bum trying to navigate through this one. I'm not too sure why. But I'd like to see if there's any preset wing views for the 340 on here. Be interesting to see. There you go, there's those hair dryers. But there's the view. Again, you can set your own view for that, it will still work. Let's do Alt-Shift-5. And it's sent the he sent the plane into a bit of a I don't know, a bit of a flap. I don't know. But anyway, so in some cases, I don't even have to use replay tools. If you can stick an aircraft in, so this is the easiest part of cinematography in the flight sim, is catching any cruise footage. You know, straight flight. Obviously, for turns, you definitely will want to use the replay tool for sure, because you'll probably want to keep on replaying the particular turn and filming it in different ways. Good to see you back, Martin, mate. Thanks for coming back, mate. I've put something in the video description, mate. It's called No Handlebar Mod. It will stop the handlebar coming up. So basically, if you start using your cursor or any type of movement, it's very sensitive. It happens in 2020 and 2024. The little toolbar, you can't see it now because I've taken it off, but a little toolbar around here will pop up like a little arrow, and it'll tell you where this toolbar is so you can open it. No Handlebar Mod for 2020 and 2024 is linked in the description. It's a must, because you'll always have the little triangle pop up and it can ruin your shots, mate. You can get to a point where you go into your editor and you've got all your film, you've captured the footage, and you go into your editor, start to edit it all up, and your footage has got the bloody arrow in it. And even with AI, there's no point in even bothering, because you might as well just refilm it. So No Handlebar Mod is a brilliant tip I can give to anyone, because I still see put my teeth in, still see people with screenshots and footage across multiple different platforms with the handlebar thing still there. And yeah, it looks a bit, you know, doesn't look great. You know, the particular person might not be bothered. Doesn't bother me either. I'm more interested in seeing the plane. But if you do want to make a really high quality cinematic and, you know, all that business, you definitely don't want those up. But like I was saying, guys, cinematics in cruise, if you're just doing level flight, is going to be the easiest part of it. You can get through many scenes, because for the most part, if it's got an autopilot system, you can just whack it into altitude mode and then you can just let it go. The exception being if you want to be at altitude or a certain landmark, this is where you would be using the replay tool, because you'll want to capture the aircraft over a football stadium, a mountain, a bridge. That's where replay tool in this instance would come into play, if you want to capture both the aircraft and a particular landmark on the ground. If you just want to catch the aircraft above the clouds, then stick it into autopilot and you can just kind of forget about the aircraft for the most part. You might want to check the cockpit every so often, but this is where you'd want to capture all your cruise stuff. again, cinematics, get the camera down to, and I'll just show you because obviously I'm not showing you that, but you'll see inside the camera, the showcase mode is the speeds. Now you'll see speeds moving up and down, or not, because I'm in the way. Silly me. So I've got the key binding set up. Drone rotation speed is at the bottom. You can see that going up and down, up to 200 or 180. Very sensitive. Probably not great to watch either. Send it all the way back down. 0 or 0.34 being when it just does not rotate at all. Bump it up a bit and you'll get a tiny bit of movement. There you go. And this is what I do. This is how I get the slow movements. Okay. Drone speed is also known as translation speed. I can take it down, I can go up a bit, and I've got that set to right bumper and A. Right bumper and B to slow it down, right bumper and A to speed it up. And guys, like I said before, spend some time with your key bindings. Get yourself a control. Grab one, go and get a second hand one. You'll probably got one that can be USB to a computer that will work absolutely fine. It makes a massive difference. And then with that being the case, what you can do is you can start getting lovely cinematic pans like this. And I'm doing this all live, as you can see. This isn't pre-recorded, I'm doing this live. I'm showing you. Translate the camera that way. You know, there's however you want to do it. Move the camera about, find what's good, and this is why I'm saying, guys, be careful with your bit rates and your size of your files, because you probably will end up recording multiple different shots. So when you're in your editing software, you can slice them up, chop them up, and pick which one's nice. Because I've had times where I've picked one, and then when I've got to about to render the footage, I've been like, nah, I'm going to use the other one. It's a bit nicer. But that's a good way to do it. That's another tip I'll give you, because if I just record the little pan right over the clouds here of the A340, fine, but then I've got nothing else to use if I decide I don't like that when it gets in, because your previous scene or your scene after might just not flow nicely with this movement. I've spat there, really sorry. But like I said before, there's also fixed cam position, so let's see what the 340's got. That's quite a nice one, isn't it? But again, probably not realistic. I don't think Gulf Air have put a GoPro to their winglet. They do have wing views, but the wing views aren't particularly the best. That's a nice one. And I will say, they've got the wing flex with the 340, really nice, by the way. But again, something like a full flight video, this would be a really nice viewpoint. Not terribly realistic in the sense of someone looking out the window, but it's a nice viewpoint. Again, these particular angles you can't manipulate. It's a fixed position. Not too sure what that one is. I don't know what they were thinking there with that one. No, it's still pre-release, don't forget, but no, they're not great. And then obviously again, are we getting an overspeed? No. Interesting. Wait. Oh. Yeah, still not thingy with the auto. Okay, mate, will you stop that, please? let's hand fly it for a bit. Now, luckily, the other day on my stream, I had Alex, one of my moderators, good friend, come in and actually show me how to pretty much get this down in autopilot mode to the nearest airport, which was fantastic. Probably wouldn't be able to do it again, but I might practice it. But yeah. What else am I forgetting? I'm probably not forgetting everything. There's probably loads of other things I do and I'm just completely just not thinking out at the top of my head. But if you are rewatching, please make sure that you comment and let me know if there's anything, because I really would like to get a pre-recorded version of this out, so it's, you know, got some tips. I may even just download this particular stream and edit it up, possibly, I don't know, but definitely on the agenda to make a dedicated tutorial, if you like. You're gonna stall, lol. Probably. Yeah, that's what it is. That's why it's telling me to book me ideas up, mate. I'm not really an airline flyer, Martin. I'm more of a GA person, if I'm going to be totally honest. I used to fly aircraft. I used to fly airliners in X-Plane 11 quite a lot. Never used to touch the GA stuff. But I think 2020 and 2024, with how nice the scenery is and how nice it is to bush fly around America and, you know, GA fly around the northwest from Barton to Woodvale to Howden, even to Liverpool. I think we're spoiled with the scenery with Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I didn't really bother with the airliners, and by that time I'd completely forgot how to fly the Z-Mode mod. And Airbuses, even though I've got all this wing stuff, I don't use it as much as I should, and I will start to. I'm learning some stuff, but I'm not totally there. I'm also going to stall again. It's because right now I can't, where is it? It won't. There'll be things I'm doing wrong. Ignore me. I'm absolutely terrible, mate. I'm terrible in the Airbuses, even in the 320. What else do I need to show before I go? Because there'll be stuff that I just completely forget. Anything you can think of, Martin? Let me know. Yeah, mate, none of that was programmed. Obviously, I just started up in the air in the 340 and didn't do anything. It was just starting from altitude and flying along just to show the camera. So, yeah, when Alex the other day on the live stream, he actually showed me how to do some of the flight management computer and put everything in, and the autopilot just worked like a charm. Got the landing, the ILS down at Stansted. Well, mostly the flying, to be fair, but we got down and the landing wasn't too bad, but he got me from being over the sort of the channel autopilot into Stansted onto approach and everything. It was fantastic, onto runway 22, all while doing a live stream. It was really, really good. What else can I show ye? Well, if Martin, if you think it's covered for me, mate. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a few more bits. What I will show you, though, is if you're still there, Martin, mate, please, I will show you, and I'm sure Liam won't mind if he's still there. I'll ask him. But my good friend Liam from Perseverance Scenery has just sent me some more exclusive shots of Doncaster Sheffield for 2024. So obviously we do know that Doncaster Sheffield is on its way to be in real life to being reopened, which is fantastic news. Where are we? Where is it? Where is it? So here it is, left in its state. Obviously, this is just a default airport in the simulator. Obviously, I don't have it installed, but what I can show you is, let's just have a little looky look and see if I can get it on here for you. Because I think I've covered everything. Again, if there's something in the comments, something I didn't show in the live stream, I will look to do another one, but a dedicated video this time. Again, comment and I can obviously either let you know via Discord. I try to help as much as the community as possible. If you want to know a bit more, again, Martin, as well, if you guys need sort of assistance going forward, obviously honoured and more than happy to help out because it's what I do already. But getting back to Doncaster Sheffield, just to go off topic with the camera, only because obviously Liam's a good friend. He's allowed me to look at some of his older scenery. He's also allowed me to see quite a lot of his in development Doncaster Sheffield, and he's allowed us to see some of the in development stuff live on stream as well. You can go back on my streams and rewatch that. It's something that you don't find with a lot of devs. In fact, I don't think I've seen it in any other devs, to be honest, is in development of certain aircraft or scenery, which is fair enough. I understand. But obviously Liam has been insanely kind and just generous to me and the channel for letting me have some things. I wouldn't say exclusive. I would say at least let me sort of go ahead and share it with you. So here's some exclusive. Here's some stuff that has been shared in some places over social media, but maybe exclusive on YouTube, I guess. So let's have a little look. How am I going to do this? Because I don't want to... Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to take flight control replay away. And here is some new Doncaster Sheffield renders. So Liam is working insanely, like, just at an incredible pace. The progress is incredible. He's even put the Robin Hood statue in. We've got some stores going in, and it's looking insane. Like, you'll notice straight away, guys, this is in development. Obviously, we've still got some things that haven't been textured and some other bits, but you'll notice that things that have been textured and modeled, particularly here. Look at the detail in the walls. So this is going to be a very, very high quality, high fidelity version of Doncaster Sheffield. The detail in the marble of the check-in desks. I'll say again, it is work in development. Nothing's finished. These screenshots are not finished. It's fantastic, and each rivet and each girder structure, they've got bolts in them. Liam showed me that before. It is incredible. ATMs there, these are sort of brand new ones. Again, these probably will be exclusive. These are all really new. Fantastic work. Look at this. Look at the lighting. So we'll have a look. Our first look at some of the lighting that he's implemented as well into the scenery, and love to see the difference in the sort of the white lights and the orange. You know, the LED bulbs and the older bulbs. The lighting on the floor and the subway and the WH Smith signage. I mean, it's incredible. And then, as I say again, textured signs showing signs of wear and tear. Unbelievable work, Liam, mate. As always, I am absolutely blown away by your progress and your work, and I will be right there when this comes out, because I'm right there every step of the way with you, mate, but I'm right there when this comes out, and this will be featured on the channel, obviously with your permission, as much as possible, because it looks incredible. It really, really does. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day, guys, because I think I've probably gone. Yeah, I think I've covered how to, for the most part, I've covered how you move the camera about. Now, what I will end the stream actually, because one thing I didn't answer, which has technically been answered. What I mean by that is, people ask me how to move the camera into interiors and control towers and stuff like that, which again we have covered technically, but what I'd like to do is just show you it in real time, because I do want to do that. I would like to finish the stream like that and make sure that I am answering that question too, and it's going to be what we did before, but I'm just going to show you how it plays out in the simulator and how how it all works. So let me get this 340 on the runway, and we'll end the stream by just showing you sort of different. We have looked at sort of different viewpoints externally and internally, but this is another thing that you can also do to kind of make your video or cinematic just again a bit more realistic, had a new viewpoint. People ask how to record landings and taking off. Well, we have done that. I've showed you how to do that and how to move the camera into position, how to lock the camera. I don't know why it's done that, because did I not ask it to be on the runway? Okay, fair enough. How to lock the camera onto the aircraft, what it does when it initially loads up and all that business. I'll also give you another look at another livery that I haven't used for the A340 yet. Let's have a little look. The Air Belgium one's really nice because they obviously have put the black mask on there as well. We'll go on to, I've not used the Air Belgium before. The video that I made on my YouTube channel, the little small cinematic for the 340, I only used ones that currently still fly. There was a point to that. There was reasons why I didn't show all the liveries included, because I only wanted to show the ones that are currently flying. That's all. Let's hope it starts on the runway this time. But yeah, gone through quite a few things. If you're watching back, obviously feel free to ask some questions like I keep on saying, and I will try and be as helpful as possible. And then all I'd say going forward is just look out for more live streams and more pre-recorded stuff. I am currently researching more freeware stuff for you guys to enjoy, because I know that video was went down well enough. Went down well. Let's have a little look. So let's record a takeoff. Might not be the smoothest, but let's have a little go, shall we? Yeah, put the flaps to 1. I don't know if trim wise this might be a bit too much, but we'll work with it. Again, just want to get it up, and might be able to hear the sounds as well if I've got the volume up. Hear those hair dryers kicking in. Bit low, to be fair. I think might not have the volume up. So there is a reason why I'm taking the plane off. I don't want to just move the camera to inside an interior and then be like, that's how you do it. I always remember seeing videos of the 340 struggling to get down the runway and off the ground, to be fair. So beautiful though, another really nice EMEET builds aircraft. And again, from my experience, I've had no crashes. Performance seems just a whole lot smoother and more stable than the 350 at launch. I definitely would say that. So let's load it back up. Back on the ground as the tires, as the gear come out. Yeah, it's doing it. Right, so to end the stream, guys, let's just go through another question is how, you know, in not just replies to me, but replies I've looked at in the past, like how, you know, oh, how have you got your camera inside the airport terminal? How have you got the camera in the control tower? It works the same way. Now, recently, for some reason, Sim Update 3 or even Sim Update 2, they've started being particular on what scenery you can go into. I've noticed that the camera doesn't want to go inside or under things. It will collision out of it. So hopefully in this case, Leeds Bradford, East Midlands, this is PGEEK's scenery, of course. Hopefully his scenery allows us to do it, but I think it's more Sim Update problem, if I'm going to be honest. So let's hope we can, but it's the same thing, guys. It's to get your camera into any interior, if it allows it, you just have to move it into there. I know that sounds stupid, and it may also sound a bit condescending, a bit sarcastic, but that is how you do it. The reason why people might ask is they might ask because the collision happens. So we'll see that is allowing us to go in there, so it bodes well for the rest of the scenery. Especially the default handcrafted airports, I've noticed it does not allow you to go into terminals anymore. Bilbao, for example, Bilbao is a great example. You used to be able to put the drone camera through that. You can't even walk through it in the avatar mode, the walking mode. So there is instances of a huge chunk of sceneries that will not let you go inside or underneath roof because there's a collision marker, or there's some kind of collision stopping your drone camera. Any kind of, even your walking mode, you can't walk in there. This seems good. So what we can do is, if you're asking how you, obviously this isn't a interior you can go into, but a fantastic use of parallaxed interiors, which give the illusion of 3D interiors. They're not. But if we try, and it's quite hard because I can't turn the camera around without the lock breaking, if that makes sense, without the, you know, the focus on the aircraft going. So we're gonna have to do this backwards, but I think I'm going in the right direction. The aircraft here, I think, are static aircraft, part of the scenery, if I remember correctly. But if you are a flight sim user and you are into downloading and buying airports, you'll know that PIXY stuff is blooming fantastic. And the control tower at East Midlands looks exactly like Liverpool airports. It really does. So yeah, as you can see, for this one, it's been good, it works. You can just slot your drone camera. Now, I can only imagine that some people might try to do this, and that's why they asked the question, is they're seeing people with their drone cameras inside the terminal buildings or the control tower, and they're like, how did you do that? It's because either sometimes the particular interior has got collision on it, meaning you cannot put your camera in there. But again, the reason why we did the takeoff is because we can now get a nice little replay of that takeoff from the tower. Let's go. You know, you can do things like this. You know, you got the controller there looking out at the plane. Maybe even time it so it looks like he's looking at the plane. Wasn't a bad takeoff that. There we go. We can see it going off there, the A340. Look at that. And this is why it's such a long thing. This is why it's such a long process doing any kind of video like this. Even if it's not a cinematic as such. You know, you got your cinematic bars and stuff. If you just want making a video and you want multiple angles, it takes time. Because in this particular instance, like I said before, you might want at this point to have the camera in a fixed position in the cockpit. You might want the camera to be changing every 10 seconds. I don't know. It's whatever you like. So you might want the camera right now to be passenger view out the over the wing. Then it swaps over to the cockpit view, and then it might change to when the aircraft is around, you know, in such a position. You might want it to then flick to this camera and you get an external view. You also might want to do multi-angle stuff. Now, multi-angle stuff, all I'll say is it's probably just as difficult, I guess. I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's just a bit more of a faff. With the multi-angle stuff, all you do is you just, if it's a takeoff, for example, record the whole thing, go to your next view, wing view from the passenger seat, record the whole thing again, next view, record the whole thing again, and then in your editor, get your layers going on, and you have to then just mark everything up. So you're going to want to mark as the aircraft rotates and have it at the same point as the cockpit view when it rotates. So there's a bit of messing in the editing room there, but it all works out very well. And then you can have like a little 4-window view of the whole thing if you like. You could have top left showing the cockpit, top right showing the passenger view. I did do some videos like that, but you can also then go a bit further and have your quad view, and then it opens up to, say for example, your top left is a cockpit, the whole sort of window opens up and zooms to full screen. Then it zooms back down into the cockpit view, and then your passenger view window opens and that zooms into full screen for, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then it goes back down. I did it in a couple of videos. If you go through my videos, you'll see some multi-angle ones, and they take a bit of time to put together, but they turn out really nicely. Again, if we want to then, I don't know, PGEEK does a fantastic job of putting interiors into his airport, and they're very, very detailed, as some of you may know. So we can then go into, I don't know, maybe into, I don't know, well, shall we go into, you know, the gate view. You know, we can go into the gate view. We can manipulate the camera. And there you go, guys. There's a view of the A340 as a passenger waiting at the gate. And obviously it helps because PGEEK puts animated passengers in there. It's fantastic. You start sort of, you know, experiment with the cameras. Sometimes they don't even have to move. Your camera point doesn't even have to move. You can just have some static stuff. But yeah, guys, I hope I've helped a lot of people going even now or rewatching the stream. I hope I've helped you out. And again, if you don't understand some stuff, then comment. It does allow you to get creative, mate, and obviously within your editor. You know, your actual video editor itself, you can then get even more creative with transitions, and it also works for a good screenshot as well. So now I can pause it at a point. Now obviously in this case we are getting warnings, but ignore them. I found that they happen even if I'm just, you know, even if it's just loading a really, really you know, high resolution, what, you know, loading close to the aircraft and stuff, it's going to happen. But you know, if you want to get a screenshot, and even with screenshots, I like to keep it to a realistic viewpoint, as in generally, I mean, I don't think at all. You're not going to have someone standing here. Not even ground crew stand there. So, East Midlands has a couple of different spots around the perimeter. This might be a shot, someone on a ladder maybe being naughty. Might have that. And then it works the same way as creating a video as well. So this is obviously not moving, but what you might want to do is you might go, right, I've got my camera angle there, I like that one, and let's have a little look at this particular angle. The landing gear still coming down. Let's have so you've picked your angle. Now, in my opinion and in my experience, the best thing to do now before you start recording with your screen recorder is to have a mess with your weather, have a mess with your lighting. That's the next part. So that's probably something I missed out. I would imagine I've not really touched on that properly, but there you go. There's an actual shot there. Maybe someone on the perimeter fence. Plane spot. There you go. Not bad really, is it? Not bad at all. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that I might actually record that. Might actually record that. Let's let the landing gear come out. What's it doing? No, come on, come out. So yeah, while we let the landing gear come out, sim the turn down, cannot hear the wheel. What? Okay, okay. I apologise. The level of the plane, yeah, perfect. That should be a bit better now. So yeah, at this point, yeah, I will just go over the end time here now. But the weather and the lighting, that's something I didn't really pick up on. So before you even start recording, once you've got your angle, press G when the landing gear goes up. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. It'll do it automatically as well. It'll just copy where the replay, so it knows when the gears is down. But you can manipulate the gear. But yeah, guys, one thing I didn't mention. So once you've got your desired camera point where you would like to take the video from, which here might be nice, but maybe back here so we haven't got the water tanks in the way, might be a good one as well. When we've got our viewpoint where you want to stick the camera, we'll have a look at the lighting and the weather. Best thing to do is stick your plane close to where you're, so you can see a bit better. Now, I don't know. Clear skies in East Midlands, not really going to be realistic. You can even do a bit of a zoom. Yes, of course. Now, what I was saying before with the zoom is that this might be a... it might... Basically, you want to unlock the camera. And what I mean by that is you'll want to go into lock mode, change the rotation down a bit, because when this plane starts getting closer to you, the plane's going to be lower on the screen, so it won't work very well. So lock it back into place. You don't want to move the camera forward or back, otherwise your viewpoint will completely mess up and then you'll have to reset the whole position and start again. That can be a pain when you're in a flow with things. So yeah, you can. And like I said, guys, obviously if anyone hasn't seen earlier on the stream, I would go back and watch it, but you get yourself a cheap controller. If you're wanting to do videos like this, these are a godsend. They just help your productivity. You can map things to it. You zoom. You don't have to do it in the sim. You know, that's a nice, maybe that's a nice zoom level there. You can go for that maybe. But in terms of the weather, let's have a look. So obviously clear skies in East Midlands, not realistic for the UK, but it does happen. Some clouds. Bit more duller. You can manipulate the daytime, the nighttime, make the lighting come onto the side of the aircraft to illuminate it a bit more, which always looks good. Well, in some cases it does, and you might want to do something like an evening, something like that maybe. And then all you do is, let's scroll back to where we want it. I might even record this, to be fair. Now, you might see stutters and you might see thingies and stuff. Sometimes you can just scrub back and restart the recording again. That needed to be a bit more zoomed out. So, you know, you can go back and do that because we've got the replay there. We can just go back. Also, well, the G button's not working. It's actually changing my exposure level up and down. So what you do for this particular replay tool, you will have to, so right now we can have a little look. We got to this point and obviously we can see that the plane just went out of shot a bit. So in this case we probably would either zoom back a bit, maybe to about there, let the gear come down. In this case the gear won't let me do gear down for G for some reason. It changed the exposure because we're probably in actually we're in drone mode, so it wouldn't have let me manipulated the aircraft. You can also set up a button called control aircraft. So if you're not moving the camera in drone mode with your control and it's just a statically placed camera, I could actually take control of this aircraft while it's recording and still in cinematic mode or drone mode. I forgot to mention that you can set something called control aircraft in drone mode or showcase mode or control aircraft showcase. If you keybind that to a stream deck or your controller, you can then just record this viewpoint but also control the aircraft. That is probably more used for air show type recording, so you could potentially go past in a fast jet and actually still control the aircraft going left or right or doing a loop-de-loop and whatever. So you can also do that as well. Let me show you that actually, because see, I told you there's always stuff that I forgot and I forgot to mention it, and I don't know what this key binding is called. Is it something like control? No. What's it set as? Let me have a look in my Stream Deck settings. Alt B. Toggle plane controls. If you set toggle plane controls, you can still record your aircraft in cinematic mode and still take control of it. Just in case you were wondering. I'm still recording my screen here as well, by the way. So let me show you, just by those little adjustments we made to the camera, we should have now the whole aircraft in shot. There we go. Air Belgium A340 taking off from East Midlands. Don't know if they ever did. Bit of a stutter there, but you can just start re-recording that again. I noticed that sometimes you can stop the stuttering just by scrubbing through or scrolling through your replay a few times, and it's like I don't know, it might be buffering or something, I don't know, but you can get a really smooth playback. One of my specs, they're in the description. A bit stuttery, but we're in shot. We're in shot. And then if I click, so if I move my drone camera here, for example, let me show you. So we're still on the lock mode, we're still in the drone camera, we're still locked onto the aircraft. Now if I click, oh, it's gone back to the start, that's why. I apologize. If I click Alt B or control aircraft, it'll stop the camera controls. Oh. But I am controlling the aircraft and we're still in follow mode. See? There's me banking. And we're still in that actual drone camera mode. And that can be useful as well, guys. In some situations. Lovely shot that though, look at that. Way. Again, that's me controlling the aircraft. We're still in. It's almost like you've turned the simulator into a remote control aircraft simulator or something. I don't know. I am using Flight Control Replay, the external one, not the one that's embedded. I've linked it below. It is a payware scenery, a payware program, unfortunately. But I am using Flight Control Recorder, which is from SimMarket. It's in the description below. You can use Sky Dolly as well, which is free, but there's obviously loads of more bells and whistles that you can play with Flight Control Replay. Obviously, we've lost some of our LOD now, so the tail's completely gone. But the inbuilt one is basically the same program, but the external program has a lot more function to it. You can't do half of the things in Flight Control Replay, the one embedded. So there it is embedded into the simulator, which everyone has, but you can also buy a external version, which has more functionality. What is cinematic mode for? I guess it's drone mode. I think it's, if you go I call it drone mode, showcase mode, because they call it drone speed and they also call it showcase. But as you can see, the 340 is a bit high now, and we can go back to drone mode and it's still circling around, so you can do that. King Bob, thank you, mate. I've tried to be as thorough as possible. Just if you do watch it back, just as I say, be patient with my back and forth. But I've tried to go through how to set these cameras up and how to move things about and how to counteract some of the little quirks and sort of some of the things you might encounter, like the drone locking mode not fully capturing the aircraft and all that business. What recorder I use. I think for the most part you've only really got 2 flight recorders. Oh. But obviously, yeah, you're not really going to have the best control out of your aircraft if you are using this camera, because, well, you know. Now if I press play again, I can get it up on screen for you guys because I just took it off the screen. Let's have a little look. What headset are you using? Mic sounds nice and it appears to be wireless. I'm using, now that you ask, so luckily enough I got to work with Logitech last week for 2 weeks. Look at the wing effects there. Nice. So last 2 weeks I was working with Logitech on their like Play Days campaign. This is the Logitech G Pro. It's the X2. Behind me you'll see the wired version on my shelf, all dead. It's got this. It looks exactly the same, but that was the wired version. The microphones are insane on the Logitech. The Pro X, they're called Pro X. This is the Pro X2, the Lightspeed. But the microphones are always great. I would say you can fiddle with the things on the Logitech app as well. It's really, really cool. I've never actually tried to do it live on stream, but you can mess with all different levels. But yeah, totally wireless. The battery's insane. I think I've had this off charge for for about a week or so now, and it's still completely up there. Have I still got Blue Voice enabled? I think I have. So you guys will have to let me know because I don't know. But
do I sound like an alien now? I don't know. Do I sound like an alien? If I don't, then
Maybe a demon. Maybe a demon. Maybe I'll use this one for Halloween. I don't know, but this is all, if it's working, this is what the Logitech hub does. Maybe it does, because I've never actually tried to do it before. If this don't affect, I don't know, you guys know if it's working, the effects and stuff.
If it does, it was cool enough. But yeah, the microphones on these Logitech the Logitech G Pro X2. This is they've got the GX1, they've got just the normal G Pro, which is that one. But yeah, that's what that is. But yeah, guys, if I know some of you guys have come in a bit later on here, try and re-watch things. If you're a bit unsure, get onto me Discord. Come and ask me. Come and direct message me. I'll help anyone, guys. I'm not gonna just keep everything for myself. At the end of the day, I want to see other people's landings and flights and screenshots, because this is also good for screenshots as well. Obviously, if you're in a flight and you want to start taking some screenshots of, I don't know, the aircraft as it takes off and share them on your social media, you can do all that. And it obviously with your replay tool, as I say, there's flight control replay embedded into the simulator. Then you've got the external program, which is a payware, and it's got more functionality on it. I prefer using the external ones because otherwise you've just got the, well, I'll show you. You've got this thing. I hate this. Just any kind of time where the sim is like loading back in, or it's loading something heavy, it always comes up with that. I hate that. I hope there's a way you can disable it. But on the embedded one, you obviously have to record. This has to be popped up. You can exit out, but then to replay the replay, you've got to open it up again, play it, and then exit it again so you can record. With an external one, you can do all that without even going into the toolbar. It's really, really cool. Really, really helpful having the external flight recorders to do it. Otherwise, things just become, well, yeah, they take longer to do. Let's put it that way. Take a lot longer to do. But yeah, I am gonna get off, guys, because yeah, I've gone on for a bit longer than I thought I would. If you have enjoyed the stream, then please leave a like. Comment if you're watching, like I said, and yeah, it's been a good one. I'm glad I've been able to do it because, like I keep on saying, I wanted to do this as a pre-recorded video, but there's just not enough hours in the day. It's hard to get pre-recorded stuff done. I really want to get more freeware videos out. I've got, obviously, I'm still working with developers doing trailers and cinematics for them, so a whole bunch of content on the channel, guys. I'm trying to make the content on the channel rather a lot more varied, a lot more accessible to people who might not want to watch a particular video. Some people might not like trailers and cinematics. They might want to watch some of my freeware stuff. But yeah, cheers, guys. It's been really, really, really cool, and I'm glad to have been able to share some of the things I do. And hopefully, if you are interested, get into the Discord, start sharing your screenshots, start sharing your videos. I've got a self-promotion thing there. You can, by all means, put some of your videos into the Discord chat if they upload there. But yeah, been fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and I will see you again soon. I don't know when, but it'll be soon. Yeah, possibly another live stream on Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'll find out tonight, hopefully. But yeah, there's a new scenery that I really want to take a look at, and it looks fantastic. Really more for me, to be honest with you, because it's my kind of scenery. Anyway, guys, I'll see you again soon.